Last call. It's about that time. Tenma, you haven't even finished your last one. No.
Alright, come on, pal. Don't you think it's about time for you to go home?
Why bother?
What happened to you, dude? You used to be so fun to have around.
Well, for starters, I lost my job. I will never be a surgeon again. Then, my wife leaves me. Because it turns out, she's a gold-digging whore! Oh, I almost forgot. The reason I got fired. I saved this kid's life. It turned out to be Hitler! How about that?
Are we, doing a bit or something?
What?
This is a joke, right? I mean, nothing you said is even remotely believable.
No!
Because it's impossible for me to take you seriously if this is the kind of shit you're gonna shovel.
It's all true, everything I said.
Okay, drunkie. I'll call you a cab. Fucking clown.
We have to go. It's time to save the world. Hello and welcome to Cover by Cover. I'm a Nazi.
White Pride Worldwide.
Hello and welcome to Cover by Cover. I'm a Jew?
No.
Hello and welcome back to Cover by Cover again. I'm now alt-right no matter what I say.
Jokes are hard.
Yes, they are. Today we're looking at an anime from a genre, I guess, that navigates a pretty bizarre territory. That being, modern Japan's fascination with World War II Germany, or more specifically, Japan's obsession with Nazis.
Yeah, while most countries have given Germany a pass for merely distinguishing themselves from their Holocaustic past, Japan apparently wants to marry them and live happily ever after. Why Germany? I have no idea.
Whether it's weird stuff like the Deutsch-speaking dark book from Nanoha or the over-the-top insanity of Hellsing Ultimate, Japan does have an obsession with them Germans, and yes, very specifically, them Nazis. So, get ready to surrender Poland all over again, this time to Naoki Urasawa's Monster.
Monster started out as a monstrously acclaimed manga series which, all told, won 4 prestigious awards for excellence, made 2 international lists of greatest novels, and received 5 Eisner nominations. That said, there were problems lurking beneath the surface.
Monster's final volume received scathing criticism for its stranded plot threads, misguided character development assigned to those who didn't need it, and, above all, no satisfactory examination of the villain. The most damning thing said was from Casey Brienza over at ANN, who wrote that as long as the reader doesn't look for, quote, deep meanings or think too hard about whether it all makes sense in the end, they'll enjoy it. Well, that's a lot of leeway for a serious adult drama, don't you think? Shouldn't the standard be just a tad higher? Imagine if that's what critics said about a show like Breaking Bad. Yeah, gotta run right out and watch that epic dark drama about an old dude cooking meth that completely falls on its face at the end. Real ringing fucking endorsement that would be.
Despite this lackluster conclusion, however, an anime was inevitable. Madhouse snapped up the rights, and they decided to go all out on what is, to this day, the most faithful manga adaptation ever made, quite obviously, for better and for worse. So, will its first 2 episodes out of a total 74 hold up to scrutiny? Is it fair to only watch such a tiny fraction of its runtime? No, but fuck you, that's what we're doing.
So, strap on that grease gun, prepare your heil, and salute. This is Naoki Urasawa's...
Wait. You do realize that there aren't any Nazis in these first 2 episodes, right? Like, none at all? The viewers at home are going to be expecting to see Nazis, and they're going to see none. Except for you, but I mean, that's kind of...
You couldn't have reminded me any sooner. Jeez, I'm gonna do rewrites. We'll start over.
We don't have to do that.
Back. Jesus.
No, hang on!
Hello and welcome to Cover by Cover. I'm a giant spanferkel.
This is Naoki Urasawa's Monster.
Thunder cunt.
Turbo fag. We kick things off with an edgy quote from Revelation for the sake of totally not overused symbologism. All I can say is that if we don't see a 7-headed beast fighting a giant red dragon, I'm gonna go watch sci-fi instead.
I want to point out that the only reason this has any weight whatsoever is because it comes from the Bible. Could you imagine if this was just a weird quote from some guy?
You wouldn't believe it. That's when the beast rose out of the sea. 10 horns on 7 heads.
Nice dream, Grandpa.
It wasn't a dream. Anyway, there were 10 diadems on its 10 horns.
Okay.
Why don't you put that contraption down and listen for a minute? Anyway, where was I? Oh, yes. That's when the dragon gave it its power.
Wait a second. What fucking dragon?
Oh, no. Anyway, where was I? Oh, that's when Godzilla came out and Ashito, where'd you go? God damn it! Well, at least I have time now for my shows.
Outstanding.
Yes, his skills are truly unmatched.
The aneurysm was in such a delicate location, yet he clipped it off so effortlessly.
Indeed. Another perfect operation by the peerless Dr. Tenma.
I was finally able to observe the genius surgeon at work for myself.
Oh, you guys. You know how much I love it when you get on your knees right after surgery? Hang on a sec.
This is our wish fulfillment protagonist, Dr. Kenzo Tenma. And when I say that, I don't just mean all the swallowing going on.
We don't have any more patients today. You should go rest.
Said no doctor ever. There are always more patients. I guess poor Susan over here is gonna have to put that severed arm on ice until tomorrow. No time for her.
Actually, the important plot point delivered here is that this lady's husband died in an operation that wasn't being performed by Tenma. Remember that.
After we see just how terrible Germans are at parking, especially this drunk asshole, Tenma is awakened by his fiancée, who I can only describe as an obvious bitch.
Yeah, she's muttering sweet nothings, but she looks angry enough to kick a puppy. If I woke up to that face, I'd start swinging.
Oh, and look, it's her father. I guess transparent evil runs in the family.
Eva talks about how Kenzo is the best, and like a real Japanese man, he kills himself via overwhelming humility. We then cut from Kenzo getting some sweet action to him scraping the penis.
I will now scrape the pyramus.
Oh, well, I thought that's what he said. Speak up, bitch!
As usual, you did a magnificent job, Dr. Tenma. Well, you're the head of neurosurgery at such a young age. You've become the golden boy for both the director and the chief of surgery. And on top of that, you've even captured the heart of the director's daughter.
Dude, Tim, where were you 3 minutes ago before we showed all that? We could have saved all that expensive animation. Ugh.
Come on, you do realize that you're being used by the director now, don't you, Dr. Tenma? Well, if he is using you, then it must mean that you are gifted. When you do become successful, don't forget about good old Becker.
You shouldn't let the director use you. Only good old Tim. Ha ha ha, Tim, king of the castle.
Following that, things take a turn for the ridiculous when the gypsy from earlier violently accosts Tenma for not operating on her now dead husband. I'm sorry, but is he the only competent surgeon here? And if that's the case, again, how can he possibly go home early? Come on, guys, at least try to make a little bit of sense.
I guess it's because in this odd universe, the director of the hospital dictates who Tenma does and doesn't operate on. Apparently, he was taken off the gypsy guy's surgery and reassigned to the opera singer because it was more prestigious for the hospital. Man, universal healthcare's a trip.
Later that night, Tenma can't shake the trauma of the day, which ruins the date with his cold hard bitch.
If you look back over the charts, they clearly show what happened. Becker took too long to treat that man. I was just following orders from the director when I performed surgery on that opera singer. I'm not responsible. Well, am I?
Well, of course not. After all, people's lives aren't created equal.
Dear God, I can't believe I put my dick in that mouth.
Meanwhile, thousands of miles away, sudden dramatic tension be as we find the older couple from the TV murdered in their home with their adopted son shot in the head and the daughter in complete shock. Well, if we've learned anything so far, the director did it. Or at least his eyebrows. I mean, look at those fucking things.
Tenma gets paged to save the kid, but flashes back to the night before where things get even more absurd when Tenma goes to tea with the Devilkin.
A suspicious group of civilians forced their way into the hospital. They were protesting the operation we performed on the opera singer. They claimed we pushed back the case of a Turkish man who'd arrived at the ER first.
Is it even possible to lay this on any thicker? A guy died on the operating table. It's a thing that happens, and he was just some guy. But no, there must be a conspiracy. This is just preposterous.
No, JT, I don't think you understand. The doctors killed him. It doesn't matter that he was in a horrible accident, and exactly one doctor in the entire country could have saved him. They literally murdered him. 1776 must commence again.
That's not how it happened. That Turkish man was operated on first. There was not a thing wrong with our procedures. Apparently, they think we're some kind of charity or something.
And therein lies the problem. From a pragmatic perspective, this is absolutely true. Kenzo Tenma is just one man. He can't be expected to operate on every single patient that comes in. That's just not feasible. So if the hospital decides, hey, this opera singer who entertains thousands of people on a weekly basis might be more important than, some Turkish dude, and Dr. Becker fucks up, they should be on his ass. And you know what? Sometimes people just die. What guarantee exists that Tenma could have even saved him at all? What world does this story exist in where the citizenry are this retarded?
Back in the car, Tenma races to the hospital. You know what? Here's a scenario for you. What if Tenma had gotten stuck at a train, and in the 3 minutes he had to spend waiting for it, the kid died? What, are you gonna picket the railroad company next? I mean, they must be in on it. Everybody wants your loved ones dead.
Because we left subtlety behind in current year, Dr. Tenma is once again the only surgeon who can save the boy. He prays for a little energon and a lot of luck, but at the last second the mayor just so happens to suffer a cerebral blood clot and Tenma gets pulled to operate on him instead. Of course. Of course. Of fucking course.
All the other doctors must only be there to blow Tenma or something and not actually be good at surgery. It's the only logical explanation. Anyway, as horns start slowly protruding from the director's forehead and a Latin chant slowly rises from the blood ritual in his foyer, Tenma says fuck the police and decides to operate on the kid anyway as the episode ends.
I'm sorry, I'm really trying here, but this is just so painfully heavy-handed. I mean, they're making it so black and white when it absolutely never would be.
Well, I guess that just goes to show how little you know about 1980s Dusseldorf. What? Look, it's really well animated, okay? The art's astonishing. What? The English dub is great! The period detail is amazing! Okay, well, fuck you too then. Next episode.
So, what happens next? Exactly what you expect. Tenma saves the boy, but another doctor, not Tim this time, fails to save the mayor. I can only assume his best attempt was jamming a cotton ball into the brain and putting a band-aid on it.
The truth is, Doctor, that you're the one who abandoned our team. Just before surgery, too.
You selfishly left us a man short. We had to scramble to cover for you at the last minute, and somebody died.
Now, wait a minute.
You are aware that I followed the director's orders, and I clearly instructed you to perform that surgery on the mayor, did I not? This will greatly affect our hospital's reputation. You have only yourself to blame.
So the hospital shuts down now, right? I mean, clearly, without Tenma there, every single patient just dies on the slab. What even was this place before he showed up?
Hello? Hello? Is there anybody here? Anyone? Hello? What do you want, you giant talking hamburger? Do you even know where you are? Well, I'm Dr. Tenma. I was given this address. I'm here for the surgeon opening. I'm a very qualified doctor. My family is very wealthy. And, Why didn't you say so, sir? I'm Stinky Pete, Dr. Stinky Pete. Right this way. Hey, all right. This is going to be great.
The problem here is that the two situations we're presented with are not apples and apples. There's no way anyone could make a legitimate argument for Tenma bearing any responsibility over that Turkish guy's death. The doctor who performed the surgery would be at fault, assuming he even botched it in the first place. However, this time around, Tenma neglected his assigned duties, screwed over the other surgeons, wasted valuable time, and at least partially contributed to the mayor's death. You cannot tell me that this time Tenma isn't in the wrong at all just because he felt guilty about that other time where he wasn't in the wrong at all. Fuck off, anime. We deserve better.
The consequences are immediate and severe as Tenma's career is all but killed off, Ava breaks up with him, and after an assload of hammering in just how much Tenma doesn't deserve any of this, the director and several other doctors are found dead after eating poisoned candy in the boy's room. Tenma gets absolutely shit-faced and passes out drunk, making him somehow the luckiest person in this whole scenario, and with that, the episode promptly ends. Wow, we spent like no time on that.
Well, there wasn't a whole lot to talk about. It's just a pretty straightforward episode.
Right, but I mean, do you think we could, like, wind it back for a second?
Sure, go for it.
There's no need to leave him in a position that's getting so much attention. This is a heartfelt gift from the citizens. Here, why don't you have one?
Thank you.
Yep, thought so.
What?
Those doctors died because they were too evil to continue living. They literally stole candy from a child, and the sentence was death.
All right, then. On that note, would you continue watching, JT?
Sure, why not?
Yeah, I think I would too.
We really ragged on Monster a lot here, but it really was only the first episode that was so absurd. The second go-round is dramatically better, which is why there's so little for us to pick apart. Tenma isn't fired, he's just kneecapped and forced to quit because his career is basically dead. All the assholes from the first episode get their comeuppance, and with the story moving up, and away, I want to see where it goes, even if 72 more episodes is a bit of a big ask.
At the very least, a story this grounded stands out. Flaws aside, I want to see what else it brings to the table, like, you know, who this kid is and why someone was trying to poison him. What was the deal with his starstruck sister? What is next for Tenma? And what is Gutstis? There are plenty of questions left open here to keep me guessing, and so, if for no other reason, I'm on board.
So, how do I watch? Viz Media Streaming. With a paid subscription.
Oh.
Or you can just borrow my copy. I mean, I bought the whole thing from Australia.
Awesome! Can our viewers borrow it after me?
No!
Alright, fuck those guys!
Yeah! That's gonna do it for this time on Cover by Cover, everyone. I'm Will Ryan.
And I'm JT Kamp, reminding you at home, Nazis are evil, but they're extremely entertaining in anime. So never promise them to your audience and then not deliver. Right, Will?
Okay, fine. Come!
Then do the Heil. It's not a good idea, but do it. I'm not gonna agree with the choice.
I don't get to, I guess. All right, here we go.
I've never seen someone get upset. I want to be a Nazi. I just want to do a Heil. You never let me do it. You never let me get anything I want. All I want is to be a Nazi.